And good morning on this Sunday, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn. Thank you for being here. Oregon's recreational marijuana measure has money and momentum, but that's not stopping the Oregon State Sheriff's Association from establishing a political action committee in an effort to fight ballot measure 91. They say it will be a David and Goliath battle, but it's one they're willing to wage. This is just one of the topics we're tackling on today's program. Today, sitting beside me, on your side, investigator Chelsea Kopta. We also have Statesman Journal political reporter Anna Staver, Associated Press political reporter Jonathan Cooper, and director of the Tom McCall Center for Policy Innovation, Dr. Jim Moore. Thank you for all being here. I appreciate it very much. We'll get to you very soon. We have some big things to talk about with you as well. Before we delve into Oregon's recreational marijuana measure, I have some exclusive poll results I want to show you. SurveyUSA conducted the poll for KATU less than 2 weeks ago. It shows opinions have not changed much since we did that first poll back in May. Currently, 51% of you say yes to legalizing pot, 42% say no, and 6% are not sure. Doesn't add up to 100% if you're counting at home, but that's because SurveyUSA rounds up all the numbers that aren't exact. The margin of error here, 4.2%. Here's the big question for you guys, though. Do the marijuana supporters, do they have this thing all locked up? Is 91 all locked up? Jim, what do you think?
No, it is not. Two reasons.
Okay.
First of all, when we see these kinds of measures, they usually start out at 55 to 60%. Then a campaign is launched, and people learn more about the measure, and that number drops. And it drops and it drops. And does it drop so that it loses is the question. 51% doesn't give you much room to drop.
Anna, what do you think? You agree with them?
I think it's too soon to tell. I mean, the supporters of legalizing recreational marijuana have a huge war chest. They've been raising about $1 million. So it's a question of how much the Sheriff's Association can really campaign. How much airtime can they buy? How much media can they purchase? And that's really a big unknown at this point.
With such a war chest, how does the opposition fight that, Jonathan? What do they do?
That's a good question. I mean, if you're already starting from a disadvantage and you don't have the money to really make your case, it becomes very difficult. But I think we can expect them to spend a lot of time talking to us in the media, trying to get their story out that way. I think we can expect them to, with the little bit of money that they do have, to spend it in very targeted ways on, I don't know, internet advertising. And maybe they'll have enough money. We'll have to see for a small amount of television advertising. They have to be very strategic. If they're going to if they're going to win, which is certainly is possible, they're going to have to really think hard about how to spend their money.
Portland City Club likely to endorse this thing this coming week. A panel has endorsed it. Now it goes to the full City Club. Does that carry much weight at all with the voters, Jim, do you think?
It used to, but it doesn't anymore. But what will is virtually every group that has looked at this is in favor of it. And that is retired Supreme Court justices, that's groups like the City Club. The people who are mainly opposed to it are the law enforcement community. But even there's some who've broken away and say, no, I think we need to go here. So it's the bunch of the endorsements that's going to be really, really crucial for them to make the case.
And mainstream endorsements.
Yeah.
For them to break out of the, if they don't want to be perceived by voters as being on the fringe, and so mainstream endorsements by the City Club and groups like that can help give them, the level of credibility that they need to make voters who might be undecided think, okay, maybe this is, something that I can support.
Do you think voters here in Oregon, they see it happen? Of course, it happened in Washington, in Colorado as well, and they feel, well, the whistle's coming down the track at some point, let's just approve this thing. Do you guys think this thing will pass? Anna, what do you think?
I'm not 100% sure. Right now, if I had to guess, I'm leaning towards it'll pass, but because it is a far cry from what we saw in 2012. In 2012, they couldn't get major support. They couldn't get mainstream support. It was sort of widely criticized as a poorly written proposal. And so I think people are saying, or we're hearing a lot of, this is a really good proposal for what might be inevitable, or it's much better.
Jonathan, is it pass?
I really don't like to make predictions like that, but
just for this show.
but I think that they have everything in place that they need to be in place in order to make it pass. So You know, if you forced me to bet, I would say more likely than not it passes. But I wouldn't put a large amount of money.
So what's changed so much in the last 2 years since the last election, Jim?
The main thing is Washington and Colorado, as well as the measure. Remember, there was another measure that people liked that didn't even get the signatures to get on the ballot in 2012. And so this is, in fact, that measure. People like it. You know, there's a lot of endorsement of it going on. But it's watching the experience in Washington and Colorado. Important to remember, our state legislature here in Oregon said this is coming down the track. They started meeting a year ago to figure out, okay, what do we have to put in place in terms of legislation so when this does pass, we're ready to go, instead of like Washington, which kind of had a year of figuring things out. So there's an assumption that it's going to pass.
Okay, we're going to move on.